Welcome to the Shield course. This course is designed for people who are unfortunately going through a divorce and they're stressed, they're anxious, they might be in a way uncertain of the decisions they have to make in the divorce. And I created this course, this deep dive, to help you get some awareness of what's really going on. And I'm Corey Shapiro. In my day job, I'm a divorce attorney, and I produce this course. I wrote my book, Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind, because so much of the divorce is unseen. It's the internal journey. And this course is going to give an overview of that journey. Now, first, there's two tracks of a divorce. There's the outer game and the inner game. The outer game's the legal process. That's what lawyers do. That's what you're going to be focusing on if you go to court. That's not what this course is about. What this course is about is the inner game. And that's what's driving that behavior. And it's so hard to focus on the inner game, especially when you're stressed, when you're worried, when you're grieving, when you're uncertain about the divorce. Maybe you didn't even want the divorce. And you're in a lot of pain. And now you have to hire an attorney. Now you have to go and have a consultation. You can't do that. It's really tough. And you have to understand, I do all this to make you aware that the goal of divorce, the way at least I think it should be, is peace. But unfortunately, you have to prepare for the possibility of a long war. And what I mean by that is your other side might not be able to cut through all of these emotional dynamics, all of these pitfalls, all of these roadblocks. And you might wind up with a really difficult divorce. And you have to understand the inner game is where all the action is, because we have to be tactical. I want you to think of like a chessboard, moving pieces around. And don't worry, you don't have to rely only on you. Your attorney is going to help you through these decisions that you have to make so you make better decisions. So we're focusing on the inner game. All right, so let's move on to managing your divorce budget. I start with managing your divorce budget because it's so important to think about that. You know, what are we investing? What are we investing? Are we investing our time, our money, our energy, our emotion? All for? That's a divorce budget. So money, energy, emotion, and time. And let that sink into you. And we're going to start off talking about the money budget. You know, the money budget, hopefully it's limited. But even if it is unlimited, do you really want to spend your children's college education on lawyer fees and maybe even multiples of that? Is that how you want to spend your money? There's better ways to deal with this. And if you are going to spend that money, you're probably going to, you're basically going to send your lawyer's kids to college and you're going to pay for their college. So I really want us to think about making sure what we're fighting for, we're going to talk about that, or what's important to us is really known at the outset. You have to understand your energy. If you're investing your energy in a divorce, then you're not investing it in other places, right? And that's really sad because you're going to invest. I see people who invest so much energy in their divorce. They're not investing it in their relationship. They're not investing it in their work. They're not investing it in their self-care, right? Then you have to talk about emotions. As I hinted at, you might be grieving. You might be in such pain. And you might have almost a black heart. And how is that driving your behavior? And if you have certain attorneys, who are going to prey on that emotion, because nowhere in law school do they teach us to de-escalate. It's all about escalating, going to court, fighting the good fight. But we don't want to do that in your personal life. This is not two corporations fighting each other. This is people who have loved each other at one time and probably have kids if you're watching this. Also, your time. Now, you can have all the money in the world, but you don't have time. Everyone has the same amount of time, 24 hours in a day. And you have to think about different time scales when you're thinking about a divorce. Let me give you a couple of manipulations, because now that you understand this concept of the budget, You might be thinking, okay, I got this, Corey, I got this. No, you don't, because lawyers manipulate things. So the first thing they're going to do is shock and awe. That's a manipulation tactic. That gets you out of your rational brain. You become irrational. And they do that by escalating, making allegations against you, maybe making an application in court when it's really not needed. That's escalating. Another thing is another manipulation is this war of attrition where two people come at each other. It's almost like they're playing chicken. That game, is it a game or a nightmare where two people are coming at each other in cars? Who's going to surf? Who's going to get off the road first? You're going to waste down all your energy, grinding down, fighting, till you realize, what have you been doing? So we focus here on what's in our control, and we do that by shifting our mindset. That's really the only thing we can control is our mindset. So let's focus on it. It is so important. So important. Now you understand, okay, I got the budget. Let's focus on that mindset. And understand that you might not be in a typical divorce. You might be in a difficult divorce. A typical divorce might be more civilized. There might be negotiations through attorneys. There might be some anger, but things are going to calm down. Things are going to be okay. It's not going to last that long. That's a typical divorce, but you might not be in that. You may be in a difficult divorce where you basically have emotions that are projecting, these negative emotions are projecting, and these attorneys out there are using these negative emotions like revenge and winning at all costs. And, what they're doing in a sense is weaponizing conflict. They're weaponizing conflict. And it's really hard. If you go to the BMW shop and you want to buy a BMW or lease it, they're not going to be your financial advisors at that moment and say, hey, this is not the right car for you. I'm telling you, you don't necessarily want to weaponize conflict as a first option. You also have to understand how long this process is. No one really tells you. It is years if you have a difficult divorce. Years. So what you're fighting for, make sure, and we'll get into it, make sure it's super important to you, not just in the short term, but in the long term too. And that's why I really want you to step back. Step back and focus on what we can control. Do we have to win? Do we have to seek revenge through a court system? Can we do other things? Maybe like journaling, therapy, help us process. And can we avoid, fantasizing that this divorce or our post-divorce life is going to be perfect? There's going to be problems in the divorce. There's going to be problems in post-divorce life. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. You're just moving on. And that's the whole goal here. And what I really want you to understand is you got to prepare. Divorce preparation is not fun. It's rolling up your sleeves. It's getting the right documents, the evidence you need to prove your case. It's just not your gut, your feelings, your emotions. It's the judge wants to see, or the other side wants to see documents that really prove your case. And you're going to have to adjust your expectations. Just because maybe you're the primary parent and you deserve to be the primary parent, but if the other side is a good enough parent and has time and energy, maybe 50-50 is what's going to happen. Not in all cases. Okay? Have to adjust expectations when you're going through this process. And you also have to understand how much of a toll this takes. People don't see it until it's too late. There's such a toll these difficult divorces take. And maybe you really don't want to fight with someone who is going to blow up things, because they're probably going to blow up your life as well. So let's focus on what we can control. Let's think about that budget, right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to get into developing some emotional intelligence. So We have tools. We need more tools in the toolbox. And these tools I've been thinking about for over the 2 decades I've been practicing. And, I'm a child of divorce. My mom just sort of left our family and made some, irrational decisions when I was 8 years old. And it really made me think about this stuff. So first, you want to have emotional clarity. Hard to do, but that's the process. Use professionals, use journaling, use mind mapping, where you put your topic in the center and just put spokes out, what speaks to you. Got to get clarity of what's important to you now, what's important to you in a year from now, what's important to you 5 years from now. Okay, that's first. Second thing, you don't want to get involved with this negative dynamic. A lot of people come to me and they're just in this negative dynamic. The texts are going back and forth. They're so codependent. And I just want to pull them apart. And I do that with the 24-hour pause. That's a good first step. And it's hard. Put your stopwatch on. 24 hours. You don't respond to texts. You don't respond to emails. You don't respond to these communications. What I'm trying to do here is create some mental distance. You see that text, you're angry and you're triggered and you want to fire back. But let me think, a judge is on your shoulder. That's what I want you to think. Looking at everything you do, and those texts and emails are just going to become exhibits. So stop the game now and play a different time scale. Right? And think about 10 months, 10 years. Can you think about your kids' college graduation? Can you think about their wedding? Can you make that a wonderful day for them and not about you in a Cold War? There's so much unresolved bitterness between the spouses. And you say you're okay, but are you? And this process is going to be unnerving. Can you stay grounded? Do your support system that's positive, not judgmental, not critical. Or professionals who are trained to be more objective and supportive and empathetic. Can you do things like self-care, like maybe dancing or something that really gives you some positive energy? Because there's so much negative energy here. And since we're focusing on what's in our control, can you resolve not to escalate? Can you just be water, putting out fires? Hey, what I'm getting at here, if you want to fast forward, you're becoming that leader. You're leading your spouse, if it's the attorney, the other attorney, the judge, to where you want to go. You're recognizing that you're going to be emotionally hijacked because you're human and you're vulnerable and you're dealing with nasty people. Divorces are good people at their worst. You're compromised too. We need to grow our skills, like develop a muscle. If not, we're going to do what so many people do. You fight, waste time, money, energy. That's the divorce budget, or you flee. You flee, and fleeing might work in some cases, but if you have a co-parenting situation, probably not going to be productive. You can't just take your kids and go halfway around the world as much as you want to. And leaving your kids is no better either. You got to be there for them and be the parent they need. Can you also stay neutral? Stay neutral in these difficult situations. Can you just detach yourself from any type of fighting, any type of thinking about the past, and just trying to create this future you want? And listen, this is tough stuff. So if it gets really brutal, take a temporary exit. Not a permanent exit, a temporary exit. That's what's so good about divorce, in the sense like you're going to have a settlement meeting or a court conference, and then maybe 3 months later you come back. Don't focus on the case every day. Renew, repair. The night and the day, you need that. All right. So now we understand changing our mindset. We worked internally. We got that budget down. We understand we're in a difficult divorce. Let's practice starting thinking about persuasion. And we do that not convincing people of our position. We do that by practicing understanding. Yes, you heard me right. Understanding. Starts with understanding. We want to show the other side respect and understanding. I know that's hard to do. And you do that not because of any other reason, that we have to give them what they want if they're going to give us what we want. We might change the perception of what they want, but it has to be thinking about their experiences first. And this comes from hostage negotiation, if you want to get into it. You start with small yeses, things we both agree on. If you're fighting about custody, hey, we both want the same thing. We both want a loving home for our kids. Can't disagree with that. You build from that. You don't start with, I want sole custody. That's a position. That's not going anywhere. That's going to lead to war. That's going to lead to fighting and escalation. Think of those rams just grinding down. So what you're trying to do is you're finding common ground. Yeah, we're trying to find loving homes for these kids. And we have a lot of differences while we were thinking about our roles as spouse, but now we have new roles as co-parents or parallel parenting for people who have more conflict. And what's important to us for our children, like private school, summer camp, what are we going to do with them? But there's going to be a problem here. The other person's not doing this type of work. They're just going to their attorney, doing their thing. They don't want to grow. They don't want to evolve. So there's going to be a lot of noise. And the noise, you're going to have to tune out. Tune that noise out. Now listen through it. The noise is just a projection of emotions, of negative emotion. And the best coaches ask questions, and that's what you have to be. And even if it's internal, like, why are they acting this way? Why are they acting this way? What are they doing? Why are they doing it? Much better than, labeling them a narcissist. You're a narcissist. You're a bully. You're pathetic. That's just going to escalate things. All right. So now we started out with understanding, and I hinted at it. We're going to get into persuasion, because the only thing I want is for you to get what's important to you, what you need to move forward in your life. I'm not asking you what you want. We all have our wants, but what do you need? Maybe we could get some of your wants, or maybe rethink those wants. So let's start off with persuasion. The power of persuasion is really going to unlock this whole divorce in most situations. Either through a collaborative process, an out-of-court process, maybe through good attorneys and a cooperative process who use the court, but more for court guidance, more to try to just settle the case after a few conferences, after someone hears from, that person in the black robe and goes to court, has that experience. And I want you to think that this is not about being super persuader. This is not about that. This is about getting a little bit better. Most issues are not, 20/80. A lot of the cases that we go to court in trials are close. So just think about getting 11% more effective, 11% more effective in your persuasion. And where it really works, and this is hard to do because you're going to be so tired after such a long time, it's the last mile. It's that last hour. Can you do a little bit more being prepared? Not all the time, but on certain events, can you step it up and do what's necessary? And if it's taking a break, that's fine, and come back and re-engage. Also, are you visualizing? Are you visualizing the outcome? Are you visualizing what you really want? And is that what you need, or is that a dream? And are you giving it energy? Are you making it vivid? Because if you do, it's going to help you along. All right, now that you have all this understanding, now that you understand the divorce budget, you understand about focusing internally, you understand about working within your control, persuasion, understanding. Let's focus on divorce attorney tactics. I want you to know this because divorce attorneys can be pretty nasty. And the more you know this, the easier it's going to be to show you what they're doing, because you're going to feel disrespected maybe if you have a difficult attorney. If they're nice, you don't have to worry about this stuff. But sometimes you're going to have a divorce attorney called the swarmer, where they focus on a lot of little issues. Nothing big, but they're wearing down your budget. That's like the war of attrition, wearing down your budget with a lot of little issues. Or you're dealing with the brawler. That's focusing on one issue. And that's all they focus on. Like, it's probably something, the brawler probably has something on you. So if you have something, you're dealing with a custody case, and they just keep on coming after you at something, if whatever it is, full disclosure to your attorney early on. Don't wait. It's going to come out. Don't waste that time. Or you're going to have someone like the boxer. It's more of a cooperative type of style, who's more tactical, more trying to de-escalate. But is that boxer experienced enough to counterpunch? Because sometimes you're going to need aggression. You can't just be a good defender. Sometimes you have to call at it if it's needed. We're not doing like the brawler and we're just trying to focus on something to just, ruin someone's life. We're focusing on something to move things forward in a better way. And if you have the top dog, this is someone who's usually caters to, the ultra high net worth individuals. They can do all these styles really well. If you have two top dogs, they could really spend a lot of money. They might do a pretty good job if they can end the divorce soon, but it also can drawn out. So now you understand these divorce attorney tactics. Now you understand how you can be more creative, not so reactive. Think about all this. And I want to end with something so important, because at times it's going to be so difficult, this experience. And it's going to feel like you can't go on, can't do that last mile. You can't disengage, can't do the 24-hour pause. I want you to think of it like a roller coaster. It's going to be transitions where there's going to be good times and bad times, like a wave. And can we keep on moving in the right direction, realizing that there's down, but we're going to move up too. And that's what I hope for you when you get a divorce, that you're going to be able to push through those negative downturns, deal with those upturns, and move on to a better life. Thank you for watching. My name is Corey Shapiro. Bye.